Good morning, everyone. This is Mike Montefusco, National Weather Service Senior Meteorologist here at the Weather Service in Wakefield, Virginia. This is our Monday weekly briefing for the week of June 30th on into the holiday weekend for Independence Day. So again, we're going to be doing these briefings on a daily basis this week with so much going on for the Independence Day activities that are ongoing. We will be presenting these briefings every day here at 11 o'clock and posting them here on our YouTube feed. So just going into the updates for this latest briefing, we do have a slight risk ERO, which has been introduced for portions of our area for tomorrow. We'll talk about that in the meat of the briefing here as we get started. Otherwise, our highlights, a very warm, humid day today, certainly not by the standards of last week, but still, seasonably quite warm. Isolated, widely scattered afternoon showers and storms are expected, again, mainly inland. We'll talk about that, and we'll show that off in just a little bit here. We do have a chance of some stronger storms potentially north of Richmond and over to the eastern shore of Maryland. Mainly heavier rain potential as well with those storms. That heat and humidity continues into the day tomorrow. We do have some more organized showers and storms that are anticipated for later tomorrow afternoon into tomorrow night with a cold front moving into the area. There are a couple of stronger storms that are possible. Damaging wind gusts and localized flash flooding is possible. I think the main risk with those storms for tomorrow is going to be with those slow-moving storms producing instances of flash flooding. We'll get into that next couple of slides here. Now, that front, as is typical for this time of year, will slow down as it weakens across the eastern portions of the area into Wednesday. So we do expect some additional showers and storms to fire across the eastern and southeastern portions of the area before those storms kind of fizzle out for Thursday. The good news is the holiday weekend, Friday on into next Monday, do look more seasonable, less humid, and kind of pleasant, really, for the early portion of July into the first full week of July next week. So nice couple of days going on for the late portion of the week into early next week. In terms of rip current risk, we have a moderate threat for rip currents along area beaches for tomorrow, and then some small craft advisories that start for this evening. Otherwise, we do have some small craft, sub-small craft conditions that get going for the day tomorrow. Take a look at your holiday weekend outlook. This is your outlook for the upcoming Independence Day weekend. Generally on Friday, we're looking for seasonably warm, less humid conditions. So generally a nicer period as we get into Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Heat becomes less of an issue. Just more seasonally hot. The humidity becomes less of an issue, particularly for those first few days. Humidity starts to creep back into the picture as we get into early next week, as we do have a chance of some showers and storms start to creep back in for a week from now. But really, once we get through the storms of later today, tomorrow, and Wednesday, it does actually does get better as we get into Friday on into the holiday weekend. Taking a look at the heat risk outlook next few days. Again, you can kind of see the next few days is the biggest risk for our extreme heat. Certainly your heat index values approach advisory levels, not quite to advisory levels next couple of days. So certainly heat indices approaching 105, especially along the South Side Hampton roads on into Norfolk. Otherwise, for the most part, just, certainly a situation where we are seasonally hot and humid, but nothing excessively so for the next couple of days. And then it does kind of regulate a little bit back towards more normal seasonal values for Wednesday, Thursday, and on Friday. Taking a look at the weather pattern for the upcoming week, we are looking at generally front dropping into the area as we get into Tuesday. And again, that front crosses into the area later on in the day on Tuesday, on into Tuesday night, and then bringing some showers and storms. And then for Wednesday, that front does cross through the remainder of the area Wednesday afternoon and night. Some better chances of some showers and storms, southeastern portions of the area Wednesday afternoon and evening. And then as that cooler, less humid air starts to push in Thursday and Friday, we do get a little bit of a relief from the heat of the past 10 days or so, briefly over the later portion of this week on into the holiday weekend, with some drier weather following. Taking a look at the heat index values for the day here today, and again, you can see we do have a couple of spots where you're creeping up around 104, 105, but for the most part, over the lion's share of the area, your max heat index values top out in the upper 90s to low 100s. Your max wet bulb globe values generally in the mid 80s, which you can see certainly is not atypical for this time of year, but a little bit closer to normal, so to speak. And then for tomorrow, kind of the same situation where we do cool off a little bit, relatively speaking, of course, back in the Piedmont, but simply because we do have the clouds and showers starting west of Richmond a little bit earlier on in the day tomorrow. And then for Wednesday, a little bit less of an issue because we do have that front in the area with some more clouds in the forecast as well. So the heat index values are a little bit on the lower side. The max wet bulb globe values also drop off a little bit as well because we do have more of those clouds and showers. Taking a look at the 7-day, generally you're looking at temperatures that are going to be near advisory levels next couple of days with respect to the heat index values, but on the good side in terms of being just below advisory levels. And then we do cool off. Once we get past that Wednesday, Thursday timeframe, we do have a bit of a cooler period as we get into Friday and Saturday. And then you do note that heat starts to creep back into the picture later in the holiday weekend into early next week. The severe storm potential for today, again, we do have a bit of a trough back out in the Piedmont. So the best chance for any showers and storms, as you'll see here, is mainly across the far northwestern portions of our area from US 15 north of Farmville over to the northern neck and portions of the eastern shore as well, the bay side of the eastern shore especially. Once you get east of US 13 in Maryland, better chance over there for later on today into this evening. For tomorrow, we do have a slight risk, level 2 of 5, across generally northern Virginia on over to the Maryland Eastern Shore once again. There is the potential that we could extend this back from the Storm Prediction Center. They might extend this back into Richmond area, back into the Piedmont for tomorrow. We'll wait and see what that looks like. But otherwise, that is the outlook for tomorrow at this time. I think more clusters of storms. We'll look at the reflectivity here in just a minute. But, showers and storms are possible for tomorrow as well. And then for Wednesday, more general, not really what we would call marginal, but more general risk in terms of just some isolated showers and storms around. Taking a look at your storm potential for today, just breaking that out. Again, you can see that northwestern portion of the area in that marginal risk. I think for the most part, you'll be looking at a couple of storms up this way, northwest of Richmond, over on the eastern shore, northwest of Salisbury. Generally just kind of storms moving through rather slowly, producing heavy rainfall, some gusty winds. There is a small chance for some stronger wind gusts up this way. I think the primary threat is that heavier rainfall. Again, you can see that damaging wind threat in here with respect to, maybe a couple of stronger storms possibly. But again, I think the main risk is going to be that heavier rainfall with those storms. So timing the storms this afternoon, you'll be looking at maybe a couple of storms popping up over the eastern shore along the sea breeze, maybe across the portion of the Potomac River up into the bay on the eastern shore. Most of the storms northwest of Richmond kind of fire later this afternoon into this evening and become perhaps a little bit more numerous back northwest of Richmond this evening into later this afternoon into this evening. And then those kind of fizzle out as we get into the middle evening hours. Getting into tomorrow real quickly, wanted to show this real quickly. This is the HRRR depiction of the day tomorrow. And again, you can kind of see storms kind of moving through after 18Z. You can see this time up in here. That's about 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Just kind of some line segments as it looks like right now, kind of some showers and storms kind of moving through in the later afternoon and evening hours. And those move through into the later evening and overnight hours. So you could have some storms kind of continuing on into the late night hours tomorrow on into early Wednesday morning. So again, I think for the most part, you look at the breakout of the outlook, you have the chance for some heavier showers and storms later on in the day, mainly northwest of Richmond and Salisbury. Tomorrow, more widespread heavy rainers for a good portion of our area. You can see the slight risk area for excessive rainfall outlook over a good portion of our area. And then on Wednesday, continuing across the far southeastern portions, so south central Virginia on into South Side Hampton Roads, on into northeast North Carolina. So again, some heavy rainfall potentially with these slow-moving storms. As is typical this time of year, the fronts kind of weaken as they move into our area, and they become a little bit less forced, which means they slow down and just produce a longer duration heavy rainfall, which, at this point is, going to produce that threat for heavier rainfall. Looking at the precipitation forecast, and broke this out through Wednesday night intentionally, just kind of see, you can see today through Wednesday is your prime period for these showers. Again, more hit or miss type showers today, and then a little bit more focused tomorrow, and then on Wednesday across the east and southeast portions of the area on into the day on Wednesday. Once you get past once you get into Thursday through the holiday weekend, or for a good portion of the holiday weekend, mainly dry conditions. The front moves through. We do dry out, especially Thursday afternoon, evening. That humidity starts to drop off Thursday evening. And then the 4th on into the weekend looks a little bit more seasonal temperature-wise, generally in the upper 80s to around 90 for highs, and lower humidity levels as well. So nearly ideal conditions for those outdoor 4th activities as it appears right now as we get into Friday, Saturday, and into Sunday. Breaking out that 3-day rainfall and thunder timing for today through Wednesday. Again, mainly north of Richmond for today. A couple of showers and storms potentially. Your best chances are going to be north and northwest of Richmond and Salisbury. So that's going to be your area. Outside of that, farther south, you might have an isolated storm that pops along the sea breeze or develops off of outflow, but I think much lower chance. So you can start to see down here in Wakefield, 20 to 25% chance for south central and southeastern Virginia. And I think for the most part, much more isolated and lower aerial coverage for today. Tomorrow, you'll see that start to break out with that front kind of pushing through, certainly inland. Now, you'll notice on here, it doesn't really get to the coast until after sunset into the early morning hours on Wednesday. And as it looks right now, that is how it kind of goes. The timing for the coast is going to be a little bit slower. So certainly it will take some time to get those storms out east tomorrow into tomorrow night. So Carawa, not really much for a good portion of the day, and then later on in the evening into the overnight hours, you start to see that chance ramp up. So your showers and thunderstorms really start to ramp up in the evening and then continue into the overnight hours. And then that kind of lingers on into the day on Wednesday, certainly for eastern and southeastern portions of the area as that front becomes hung up over the good portion of the area, east portion of the area, and then weakens. Finally, breaking out the precipitation summary and the temperature summary for the week here. Again, you can see your temperatures start to creep back up late in the period, but otherwise the warmest portion of the forecast is the next couple of days. Once that front crosses on Wednesday, we do kind of cool off to back to seasonal levels. Certainly nothing crazy, but certainly there is a bit of a relative cool off as we get into Friday and Saturday. And it will be noticeably less humid as well for that Friday through Saturday period. So that is a notable change. In terms of the rip current forecast, a lower rip for today. Once you get into the tomorrow timeframe, we are looking at a moderate rip for all beaches for tomorrow, and then a lower rip follows for Wednesday. Tropical briefing. Tropical Storm Barry dissipated earlier on this morning, so certainly nothing additional on Barry, but there is some very weak kind of trophy activity that is occurring over Florida. There is some limited potential for some tropical or subtropical development. No local impacts are anticipated. So certainly we'll keep an eye on this, but nothing locally is anticipated. Taking a look at the weekend outlook on into early next week. This is for the first full week of July. Next week, nearly actually all of our area in a above normal temperature outlook. So above normal temperatures favored for the region. Next week, that heat does start to come back Sunday, and that trend does follow for much of the week next week ahead. And then precipitation-wise, near to above precipitation is expected as we get into next week. The marine threat breakout, again, you can see that small craft risk area for today into tonight. That continues into early Tuesday morning, and then sub-small craft conditions then follow as you get into the middle portion of the week in the wake of that front. So there is a little bit of a quieter period once you get past Wednesday afternoon and evening on into the holiday weekend. It does start to get a little bit more squally, or a little more gusty as you get into Sunday afternoon and evening as those winds increase out of the south-southwest. And breaking that out a little bit more, here is the wind gust forecast. Getting a little bit gusty tonight, and then certain with our small craft, and then certainly tomorrow with the storms moving through tomorrow afternoon and evening. Marine waves forecast, again, with the small craft continuing. This is what we're looking at for the winds in the coastal waters and in the lower bay. Again, you'll notice those wave heights start to ease a bit as that wind pushes offshore into the middle to latter portions of next week. That is our briefing for this morning here on Monday, the 30th day of June. We will be conducting these briefings every day for this week ahead with all the holiday weekend activities that are upon us. We are going to be conducting this briefing every day tomorrow and through the week ahead. So if you have any questions, feel free to check on back with us tomorrow and then every day for the week ahead. So thanks so much for joining us, and talk with you tomorrow.